I'm Trish Vevera, and today I'm at Pineapple Gallery in Flagler Beach, Florida, painting with oil and cold wax. I'm glad you've come to join me, and I hope you come back again. Oil you paint with a medium. So oil paints, turpentine, special kind of things that you buy from different companies, you mix with your oils to make them flow better. Well, this is another kind of medium that I mix with my oils so it flows. So I'll be showing you something about mixing in a minute. But first I want to show you, I'm going to pass this around. And you can stick your little finger in it if you want to. Pass this around and feel what it feels like. If you can feel it, it's like creamy buttery. So, last summer during COVID, I was thinking to myself, what can I do? I mean, I'm like, blah, you know. So I saw this online and I said, aha, that's something different that I haven't done before. So it's kind of like, you know, during COVID, or any time, you reinvent yourself. So I reinvented the technique that I'm doing now. So I'm still kind of the same person, but it comes out a little different. This makes lots of texture. I brought this one. This is one of my earlier ones that I did last summer. It's Flagler Beach. You can feel it and feel the texture. Also, another thing about cold wax, it's a matte finish. Hot wax is a very shiny finish. Very shiny finish. But this is, either one uses layering in its technique. You layer and layer, and then you scratch, dent, mess around with very technical terms. So anyway, so that's a Flagler Beach one. So you can do realism, you can do abstract. That's on a hard panel. One of the things you do is you paint on something hard, because a little painting you can get away with just on straight canvas. But a bigger painting will be too heavy for the canvas. And if it's bigger, it might sag in the middle. Depending on, I mean, if you put just a little bit on, but anyway. So they say a hard surface. So, one of the things I originally got was, these are called cradled boards. Let me see, I'm going to get one that looks clean. And it's got the tape all off. I'll be right back. This is a cradled board. As you can see, it's wood. It's like its own frame, and then there's a little strip of wood on the front that you paint on. Well, this is so nice and clean, right? I'm just going to put this on the side. To use this technique, as you can see, I tape around the cradle part, or the wood part, and even the back. I've got wax paper in the back, so that my fingerprints, because the paint gets on my hands. Some people don't have that problem, but this is, I've learned to do this. So, another, after I started on the wood panels, or you can just have straight flat wood panels like I passed around. There's different kinds. You can buy them at any of the art stores. I also read that there's a new watercolor paper that's infused with something that allows you to paint oil paint on it. So it's specially made watercolor paper because it's so thick. That's what this is. Later on you can come in, I mean you can see it looks like watercolor paper, right? But you don't see anything coming through, do you? If it was regular watercolor paper, the oil would seep through. So this is treated. I do have these two started. These I started on regular watercolor paper, but I gessoed it first. So I'm hoping that the gessoing will be just fine to stop the oil from going through also. So, where to start? Okay. These is I took this here, see this here? My palette, and I laid it on here, and I ran over the back, and that's how I got some of these original stark colors in spots. Yellow, 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 yellow. So I'm gonna do that to this one. Because then I'll get some new paint to start with. These are all in process. I have several in process, and that's one thing about this, it lends itself to process. You can let it go, stop. You can do it in any kind of painting, really. But this really lends itself to that. So I'm gonna take this. This is my palette. What I do when I'm done with the palette is I take it at the end of the day. At the end of the day, put it in here, and I put this in the freezer. I've always put my oil paints in the freezer, so I put this in the freezer too. It keeps them from having a coating across the top. So then when they come back out, they're nice and soft. And they're softer with the cold wax. All right, where do I want to put this? I'm just going to fold this here, like this, because I don't want to use that much. But I'm going to go over here. You don't have to start this way. You can start any way you want to. But one thing is to put a coat on the white that's the underlying base. Because when you're scratching and scraping, you have a color base on the bottom. Let's see, what color base was this? This was yellow. Can you see that the yellow, the bright yellow is the original color base on that? This one had multicolors. It was like this, multi. So here I am with this, and then I go like this. We'll see what comes off.
So it doesn't dry out in the freezer. The
No.
paint doesn't dry out.
No, it'll get hard while it's in there, but then when you take it out, it softens up. Right. Just the way it is.
And what kind of paper is your palette on? What is
This is just paper palette.
it? Is its own thing, huh?
It's its own palette paper,
Ah, look at there.
which I'm gonna put a new sheet on here.
Have you tried soft wax with acrylics?
Can't use it with acrylics. It's not work.
Not compatible.
Not compatible. Because acrylics are water-based, and it doesn't work with it. That's what I've been told. Now, if you've got an acrylic painting that you painted and it's all dry, and you go, you can paint over it because it's a base. Like, so, okay, so that's clean. I don't know how this has turned out. Oh, beautiful. Perfect.
Done.
It could be done. It could be done. It could be done. But what I'm going to do is, I'll leave that alone for a minute. Put this on the side. Put this on the side and show you. All right. What colors might we like? Well, we got some blue, and we've got some yellow, green. This is a new color I found. It's kind of a
Found or made? Found or made?
no, found.
Okay.
Found. I found it. Where was it? So again, I lay out my palette with whatever colors I think I want. Now this takes a little while to do. So I take 1/3, 20% to 50% of this wax medium. I'll bring it over here. I don't know if that's 20%. And I mix all this together. Just mix everything together till it's mixed and creamy, like really creamy. I don't know if that's creamy enough. So it's really, really, really creamy. So I'll do that to every color that I'm going to use. So I'll just do those two colors for right now. Now what am I going to do with this? Now I can use my palette knife, or one of my favorite favorite things to use is an old credit card. Old credit card. So, look at that. Now, if I like it, I leave it. If not, I scrape it off. But right now, I'm gonna try to cover up, not every single inch, but cover up pretty much the base that's there. Some parts I like, and some parts, I like that splashy stuff, but okay, there we go. This here was a painting, these two I started. This bottom part I didn't like, so I scraped off the paint because it was too dark. So, that's why I have more than one painting going at once. I go, oh, I can use that here, or oh, I can use that there. And then I don't waste, because I'm very frugal, the frugal artist here. So, now, I probably would wait a little while before I painted over this with another color, but I can do some other things. Let's see, let me take some of this. So I can take, let's see what I want to do. I don't know what this is going to be, but I would put paint on wherever I think I needed to paint for whatever reason. Same thing, scrape. So I'm layering, but I'm leaving stuff show through. So it's going to be a day or two, or a day, because this is thicker. Some of this is thicker paint, so I'm not going to really put another coating over there. Now I still can do a coating here. Another thing I like to do is, when I've got this, I can do many things with your tool, your new tool, and I love it. So you can do this in regular painting too. I mean, acrylic paint you can use this for, regular oil paint, watercolor. Yes. There you go. So you can do it in watercolor.
Yep, makes beautiful rocks.
But see, look at that. Cool, huh? Whatever it is, it's cool. Now, what's this going to be? I don't know. But for now, we'll just stop there. Okay, maybe I might want some more blue on this one. Then I work on it. Now this one's pretty dry. Can you hear how dry it is? Mm-hmm. This one's pretty dry also. So that's one thing. When you're painting multiple paintings with the same paint, they're going to look like like they're family. They're a family of painting, if that's what you want. Now, just give me just a second. I did send for this book when I started, and it's everything you ever wanted to know about cold wax. So these people have like online, you can belong to their group and get lessons and stuff like that too, but they are the gurus of cold wax medium. But I think it's printed in England, but all right. This particular painting, as I told you, was on heavy-duty watercolor paper infused for oils. And this is a beginning. It's not done. I have to still work on this side. But this is the homage to Surfside, the disaster in South Florida. This is the buildings. If you look closely, you can see the railings. I can pass this around. It's not wet. The railings of the condo. Mm-hmm. And I started, there's a car over here. I had like a big white cross up here, a big white cross. But I started scraping and I got little people floating up to heaven, I'll say, and up to the sun. But this part here is just all the same, too blue. So I have to lighten some of this a little bit more into here so that this shows up better. But I'm going to pass this around.
If you put the wax on without coloring it,
It would give you texture. Would it dry?
It'll dry. The wax will always dry. Some people, when they finish their paintings, they put a layer of wax, protective wax over the top. But again, it makes it like misty morning. That's why a lot of the works look like this is a misty morning in Flagler Beach. You can't see everything clearly. So you have to like that.
Yeah.
You know, you have to want that kind of technique. You can do exact, but it's a lot more work. And besides, the medium itself is supposed to be this kind of translucent look. So you want that. So yes, you can cover it with a final layer, but generally speaking, underneath you want your color. So okay, I've got my white. Now I'm going to add a tinge. We'll see a tinge here. A tint. Do I like that? I don't know.
Do you ever use a brush rather than a palette knife?
I've tried a brush for maybe little pieces and parts, but cleaning the brush is no fun. This is a whole lot easier to clean. You can paint with your brushes. People paint with brushes. But I've tried it gets all glucked up. Another technical term. I think when people are beginning to do this, it's best to have a limited palette. I would say anytime you're just starting something new, a limited palette is helpful because you can get carried away and be like a mess like I am there. Or opposites, like this is opposites. So, gotta wipe this off. So you can put stuff on and scrape it, you can put stuff on and mottle it or model it.
How long is your palette life? I mean, how long have you gotten until the wax, hardens
On here,
on your palette?
never hardens if I leave it in the fridge.
But I mean, while you're working on it, it never gets hard?
No,
or
not
anything
while I'm
with
working
the
on it.
air?
No, not while I'm working on it. No, the wax helps it, keeps it creamy also. But no, I haven't had any problem. If I leave it out, like if I would leave it like this, out overnight, then I would come back and the tops would be a little hard. But that's the oil paint part of it. I also like using different palette knives for each color. I did that when I painted oil painting also. I had 5 different brushes, we'll say, in my hand. One for each color, so it doesn't get muddy. Now, when I painted watercolor painting, that was a different story. Because I had one big brush I could use all the time, and I just rinse it out, no problem. So, different strokes for different techniques. But I'm trying to allow whatever's underneath to come through someplace. So, like I say, these folk here, trying to get a sky effect of lightness coming into the light. At least that's my theory. This part here, I don't know that I like. So out of the darkness or out of the depths, things will rise up. Now, I could do the opposite. I could have the light here and the darkness up there. But that's not what I'm thinking at the moment. I'm not thinking that at the moment. So. And the sun's always, you know, we think about the sun as nurturing and warming and fulfilling. So I'll have to come back on some of these that I've gone over and reinforce the railing look, because I want to make sure I have the railings showing well. So this one came out good right here. I like that. This one, I want whatever it is, I want this to stand out. I want this part to stand out. More. So I want, see, this one's standing out well. This one's getting there because I put a different value, also a different color, next to it. This one I'm working on. And so down here I have to work, but this is going to be darker, I think, than some of this. This one you can already see if it's darker. All right, let's see. What else that's dark? So I do use a palette knife a lot, as you can tell. And I didn't paint really with palette knife my other oil paintings. I painted with brushes. So I could paint this just straight palette knife and oil if I wanted to. People use we'll say like this. They do stuff like this. That didn't show very well, but you can also use collage in this. You can add pieces of paper, newsprint, anything you want you can add to it, and it will be glued in. You don't need any special glue. It'll just be part of, so you can have mixed media that way too. I mean, it could be a mixed media piece. Let's see, where else we go. Let's see more of this stuff. For those of you who just got here, this is cold wax medium. And this is oil paint that I'm mixing it with. And I mix it all up with the paint, because it makes it nice and easy to flow. I don't want a lot of that. Now you can leave it not completely mixed if you so desire. And then when you put it on, you get streaks of different colors. So you can do that too. Let's see. All right, so we're down here in Purple Land. This is supposed to be rubble and rocks down here, but I may extend it because I remember seeing the rubble went all the way across the patio when I saw the photo. The thing I like about this is, like I say, it makes fantastic textures and layering. The layering makes very intricate textures, laying and scraping. Scraping. Kind of like that. But see, you go through different layers and you come up with whatever's underneath. So you build the layers. That one started out like this messy technique that you see, and a boat appeared. So there's a boat, and the sky with the going into the water appeared. So that's fine, thank you. So you never know what you're gonna get. At least I never know what I'm gonna get, which is different from my plein air paintings days. So before we go any further, I wanna bring out another painting. You notice these rollers. Okay, a lot of artists use these rollers directly with the paint. Now I tried that, and it's great, but then when you go clean the roller, it's not so great. So I said, I'm doing it, you know, I'll put paint on something else, put that something else on, and then stick it on and roll over it. So that's me, but you can use the rollers directly on there. I'm gonna move this a sec. But see the bottom, see now this part here is starting to, you can see this better. And then you'll be able to see, I'll make this more, I guess, more different values and colors to give it that bumpy, rocky, sludgy, leftover concrete look. I'm gonna put that down a sec.
So when you frame that, you're still gonna have to put it under glass, aren't you?
I'm still gonna put it under glass just because people expect it to be under glass.
Because it's on paper.
Because it's on paper. Yes, this one here. This one I did bring pictures.
Do you frame your own pictures or have them framed?
I don't have them framed, I find frames. I have many frames at home. Say, oh, this'll fit in here. This'll fit. But if you use standard sizes, you can frame them. These, with the wood around them, don't have to be framed, but some people frame them anyway. Some people frame them anyway, yeah, like that. Some people frame those anyway, but they don't have to be framed. They're more modern looking when they're not framed with this wood around them. But if you're a more traditional person, I know somebody who bought one of these and had a frame put around it. So it can be done. So either way. But I did want to bring this one since it was on, I put that one online. But again, I'm painting kind of the marshscapes. I have a lot of marsh, lots of water, marsh, trees, bushes, and I said, well, you know, people probably have seen all my marsh stuff. Maybe they don't need any more. So I said, what does this look like to you? What could it be other than a marsh scene? Suggestions, ideas?
I see fire.
Fire, yes.
Turn it upside down.
Sky,
Underwater.
underwater. Maybe I'll think about that. Underwater. Especially this underwater. Is this the water too? Is this all water up above you? And this is like where there'd be fish. Fish and-
Sandy bottom and.
Sandy
and
bottom.
Coral reefs.
Coral
and then
reefs.
And then the water on the top.
Maybe I'll do that. But I'll bring you the idea that I have, not necessarily what I'm gonna do, but I said, to me this looked like the Komodo Japanese dragon and the artists who are Japanese kabuki dancers. The kabuki dancer with the red outfit that they come out and go, ha, or whatever they say in Japanese. And so that's what reminded me of that. And then of course that reminded me of Mount Fuji. Well, I said, okay, so I got myself this dragon picture. Dragon picture. And I got Mount Fuji. And these really are cherry blossoms. So it could be Mount Fuji in the fall or Mount Fuji pink in the spring. And since we have an artist here who's painting Japanese people, I said, I may do that. But right now I like your water idea. So, I don't know what to do. But I can try. And just define this area maybe a little more. And we'll see what happens. All right, let's see. So that's got yellow, orange in there. Yellow, orange. Do all this as much scratching as I do. You can have smooth, you can do whatever you want. You can have smooth, everything smooth. But it's nice to at least scrape somewhat so that you get the underneath part. So it's English red. And I said, aha, beautiful. Anyway, anytime you add paint, you add let's see if this will work over here too. This gives you lots of nuances of color, and lots of nuances of back and forth. So you can look deeper into, I think you can look deeper into these paintings. It seems like you can look beyond what's in front. So I kind of like that. It's not just A, B, C, foreground, middle ground, background, which in my plein air it's that. Even though there's some nuances in it, this has a lot more possibilities. Well, I'm gonna put this red on anyway. And I may not like it, I may take it off, but I just wanna try my dragon guy here. Oops. Rah, 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 rah. Well, so much for my experiment with a dragon, but I think I'll scrape it out.
Keep working on it.
Keep working on it. Keep working on it, okay. But anyway, normally I probably wouldn't have put the red on quite yet till I got more in the background. So now I have to let it dry some because it's so thick. All right, there's Mr. Dragon. Should I put Fuji over here? Put Mount Fuji over here. Sure, why not? Mount Fuji. Let's see, a little white. Well, the wax stays nice and this stays nice and juicy. Once you put this in there, that's why you prep and you do it first rather than take some paint and then add it later. You want everything to stay juicy and nice and smooth and creamy the whole time. So then once you've got your basics all creamed up, then you can mix and match. Or just mix. Fuji. At least I like Mount Fuji better than I like my dragon.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
See, this needs a lot more work before it's
You can do it.
a dragon. But anyway, the colors are very Japanese.
Yeah.
The colors are, so we'll see. But I like your under the sea. This one might be the under the sea one. So I'm gonna leave this alone because if I mess anymore, I could. But here I wanna let some of that dry. Because now, for example, like here, that's a claw. Well, when I come back later, I can take my scrapes and scrape through it. I could scrape through it somewhat. We'll see. See? I can scrape through it. So other parts too. The face has got yellow, more yellow inside, but I'm not gonna do that now. So I'll do that later. And all these things here, these, what do you call them on a dragon? Fins? I don't know. Wings. Anyway, so we're gonna leave that one alone for now. So, well, thank you for coming to see my demo today. But you can always come back every Tuesday. I'm here at Pineapple Gallery in Flagler Beach from 10 to 3:30 and see what I'm working on. Also, if you want to work on something like this yourself, I'm having a workshop down in New Smyrna Beach at the Artist Workshop, November 13th and 14th. That's a Saturday and Sunday. You can just go online to Artist Workshop Inc. and sign up. And you get to do a lot of this stuff that I've been doing all along. So thanks again for coming to my demo and watching me on video. See you next time. Hi, this is Trish again. You may have wondered